It moves faster than your eye can process. And it just shattered the glass of its own tank. Again. That's not a metaphor. Aquariums around the world keep mantis shrimp in reinforced acrylic enclosures because standard glass doesn't survive. One punch. One small animal. One catastrophic crack. The peacock mantis shrimp weighs less than a pound. It's roughly the size of a cigar. And its strike accelerates at 10,000 gs, the same force that kills fighter pilots in ejection seat failures. We brought in high-speed cameras running at 100,000 frames per second to capture what the human eye physically cannot see. What we recorded stopped the room. This isn't a story about a colorful ocean creature. This is a story about one of the most mechanically violent organisms on Earth and what happens when it makes contact with human flesh. Most predators rely on muscle. The mantis shrimp doesn't. It uses a mechanism that engineers didn't fully understand until 2012. Inside its arm, called a dactyl club, there are two separate structures. The first is a hard mineralized surface made of hydroxyapatite, the same material in human bone, but organized in a herringbone pattern that distributes impact instead of fracturing. The second is a helical fiber region beneath it, a biological shock absorber that prevents the club from destroying itself on impact. It punches hard enough to crack its own fist. So it evolved a fist that repairs the damage in real time. The strike speed reaches 23 meters per second. That's 51 miles per hour. But speed alone isn't the weapon. It's the cavitation. When the club moves that fast through water, the pressure drop behind it creates bubbles. Those bubbles collapse. They collapse at temperatures briefly approaching the surface of the sun around 8,000 degrees Fahrenheit and generate a second shockwave milliseconds after the first punch lands. Imagine you're reaching into a reef tank. You're moving slowly, you're not threatening it. It doesn't matter. The mantis shrimp doesn't negotiate. Divers who've been struck describe a sensation they can't immediately locate, not sharp, not burning, more like a pressure wave that registers as pain half a second after the hit. That delay is neurological. Your brain can't process the event fast enough to feel it in real time. The strike is over before your pain receptors fire. In documented cases, divers have surfaced with deep tissue bruising, lacerations to bone, and in several cases, partial loss of sensation in the affected fingers lasting days. One marine biologist working in the Indo-Pacific described the sensation as, and I'm quoting directly, like being hit with a small hammer, except the hammer doesn't stop at the skin. The force distributes into muscle, then periosteum, the membrane covering bone. That membrane is one of the most pain-sensitive tissues in the human body. Here's where it gets darker. The mantis shrimp isn't punching defensively. It's hunting. It targets crabs, clams, snails, anything with a shell. And it has a systematic method. It doesn't strike randomly. It identifies the structural weak point of the shell first, then hits it with surgical precision. Researchers at UC Riverside studied this and found that the mantis shrimp's strike trajectory changes based on the prey species. It is problem-solving underwater, at 51 miles per hour. There's more. The peacock mantis shrimp has 16 types of photoreceptors in its eyes. Humans have 3. It sees wavelengths of light that don't exist in our perceptual universe: ultraviolet, infrared, polarized light. It can visually assess the internal structure of shells before striking. It isn't guessing where to hit. It's reading the target. And if the first strike doesn't kill, it strikes again. And again. This is the core of humans versus species. We are not the most dangerous thing in any given ecosystem. We are often not even in the conversation. The mantis shrimp didn't evolve to threaten us, we are irrelevant to it. That's what makes this unsettling. We weren't the target. We were just in the way. The creature that punches through steel-reinforced aquarium walls, that sees colors we cannot name, that delivers 2 simultaneous shockwaves with a limb the size of your thumb, it wasn't trying to kill us. It was just doing what it does. Every episode of Humans vs. Species puts one question on the table: where do we actually stand? Subscribe so you don't miss the next confrontation. And if you've ever been hit by something in the ocean and had no idea what it was, drop it in the comments.